Hello there, and welcome to this airplane-shaped jumbo jet hotel at the Stockholm airport. You may be wondering what I'm doing here, and well, I'm going to have a race. Just a few kilometers away from the airport is Drive Lab, which pegs itself as Sweden's largest venue for education, product launches, and events in the automotive industry. And it features several different facilities, including 2 test tracks. One of them, Test Track 2, is a challenging facility for safer and better driving. The track was developed based on the challenges emergency vehicle drivers face and is constructed to resemble the Swedish road network. It's also popular with motorcyclists. Today, the Swedish Motorcyclists Association has rented the track and is using it to teach a braking and cornering course. I've signed up. They offer the course on several levels, depending on your experience. Today's course, which lasts 5 hours, is a beginner's course for trying it out and seeing if this sort of thing is for you. After arriving, we were divided based on how fast we thought we'd be on the track. After this, we were further divided into 4 groups, each with 1 instructor and 4 participants. We were given some do's and don'ts, some general information, and a bit of advice on what we should expect during our first few laps around the course. We were told to focus on leaning far off the bike in order to corner as sharply as possible. The track has a noise level cap at 90 decibels, so before we were allowed to ride on it, we had to test to make sure that our bikes weren't too loud.
5000 var talet.
5000. Du klarar dig?
Va?
Du klarar dig?
Ja, de sa bara ta det lugnt.
Once we pulled into the pit lane, we gathered for a debriefing, and our instructor told us that, generally, we were looking pretty good, except for me, because I wasn't leaning enough. Alright, hold up. Let me try to explain what's happening here. I'm going to use this highly scientific model. This is your motorcycle, and this is you. When you're steering a motorcycle, when you're cornering, much like any other vehicle, the wheel has to be turned in the direction of travel. Now, you may have heard of something called counter steering, and it's a little counterintuitive. Essentially, most people will tell you you actually turn the wheel in the opposite direction of where you want to go. So if you want to turn right, you push the front wheel to the left. And if you want to go left, you push it to the right. Both of these things are actually true. They sort of play together. Yes, when you're cornering, the wheel points in the direction of travel, but in order to do so, you first need to lean the bike. And in order to tip the bike over, you countersteer. You push the wheel to the left, for example, and that makes the bike unbalanced and tip over to the right. Once it's in this angle, the wheel actually does still go in the direction of travel, and then you can countersteer more or less to help determine your lean angle. So why do we need to lean the bike in the first place? Well, a car is very stable. It has 4 contact points with the ground. A bike is inherently unstable. It has only 2 contact points. Now, when the bike is moving, gyroscopic forces generated by the wheels keep the bike upright. But when we start to go into a corner, you have centripetal force to account for. And in order to counteract this, you lean the bike. And this creates this complex balance of forces in and out and up and down that keep the bike stable. Now, you as a rider are part of the motorcycle's system. You are one. And when you lean over, the forces that balance have to do with the center of mass of the system. So the further over you lean, the more the center of mass moves towards the inside of the corner, and the more you counteract the centrifugal force pushing you out. If you lean over, the center of mass moves even further, and you can achieve the same counteracting force while leaning the bike less. You have space left to lean even further, and thus corner sharper or with more speed. All right, let's get back to the action. After debriefing, we had to wait for about 45 minutes while the other riders finished their times on the course. And then we headed back to the bikes. This time the instructor had given me a clear goal. I was to lean so far that it would feel exaggerated, as if I was leaning too much, all the way to the mirror if possible. It made a massive difference. I was able to approach the corners with a lot more confidence and navigate through them without feeling as if I was losing control. I was able to pick and choose what line to follow, to sharpen up the turns if they needed to be, and I even felt that I had better visibility around the corners. My placement so far off the middle of the bike gave me a better view of what was coming up ahead. Look at the difference. This time during our debriefing, my instructor was a lot more happy with me. He said I was making great progress, but that if I wanted to push it a little further, I could try to lean even more, past the mirrors, way out off the bike. And on our third outing, I feel like I really nailed it. Unfortunately, I only got to do a few laps before there was an accident and everybody was called off the track. Luckily, the rider wasn't injured, maybe just his confidence a little bit. But nevertheless, the track was closed and our day ended just a few minutes prematurely.
Det ser mycket bättre ut.
Ja,
Och du har högre fart också.
det tyckte jag också.
Så att, men visst känns det bra?
And so the day came to an end. I feel like I've learned so much during these 5 hours, and I've already tried to apply them on the roads and felt a great difference in how I'm able to handle the bike. I'm going to continue taking courses like this in the future, and if you want to improve your riding and you can find something like this where you live, go for it. You are going to be so happy with it.